Alrighty, it is time for Mornings with Mike. Welcome to the show today. We have, I can't hear it very well though. Hopefully you can. Well, we'll just do it. Anyway. Have a good show for you today. We've got a lot to talk about. Some good things and bad things, and just try to keep it as upbeat as possible. But we've had some more tragedies, so we need to discuss those a little bit. See what's wrong with the world, I guess, a little bit. See if we can solve the world's problems. We'll just run down real quick, just the weather and stuff like that as we get started. It's the 28th of May. It's a pretty nice day today. It's a little breezy, should be pretty warm. High of 89 actually, so it's going to be really warm. These times of the year when we're transitioning from our really cold spring to a even a moderate temperature, 90 degrees, that's a big difference. It gets pretty cold, or it gets pretty hot, I mean, it 90 degrees right now feels like 105 degrees will feel in a month from now. So, yeah, it'll be warm. Low of 43 tomorrow, high of 81 with a low of 47. We have, throughout the week, about a 20 to 30% chance of thunderstorms, so we might see that. Usually here kind of seems to come in the afternoons is when we get hit with the thunderstorms. And by the weekend, we'll have Saturday will be a high of 82, so it'll start to cool off for us a little bit. And then we'll have a high of 76 for Sunday, so should be a beautiful day on Sunday. Traffic-wise, looks like everything is doing okay. Let's see if it'll show me here. Little bit of slow traffic, I-80 eastbound, so that shouldn't be causing a problem for us as you travel down through to Salt Lake, if that's the direction that you're headed today. But it doesn't look like there are any accidents to worry about. Now, there is at the point of the mountain an accident, but I don't know, ought to be cleaned up by the time you get there. So if you can hear my voice, it should be fine by the time you get there. All right, so our show today, we have Jeff Pitts. I'll let him kind of explain a little bit more about what he does, but he's a counselor here in Heber City, and hopefully he can kind of help us kind of understand the mentality of people who commit crimes and things like that a little bit better. Hopefully he has some insight for us there. And then at about the half hour, we'll have Tom Bonner on to talk to us a little bit more about what's going on with the Parks and Rec Department and some of the things that they have going on, some of the things they have coming up there. So, I'd like to welcome Jeff in. Can you say hello to everybody there, Jeff?
Hey, everybody.
God, you know what? I always worry, if I can't hear it in my headphones, I worry that nobody else can hear it too. And it's probably, well, hold on. Let's see. There we go. That's better, I think. Let me,
My name is Jeff Pitts. I am a rehabilitation counselor here in Heber City. What that means is I help people with disabilities get back into life, really, and try to help them with their issues. My background is in clinical psychology.
yeah, I can't hear you. I'm kind of worried that something's not working. It's always a guessing game. Need someone to text me and Let's see. No, that's not what we need. Need someone to text me and let me know that they can hear Jeff. Hold on. Nope, they can't hear you. Let's switch over to this mic over here and see if we can hear you over there.
Can you hear me now?
What about over here? Oh, you know what? I'll bet you your microphone's not on.
That might have done it.
There he is.
Hey.
All right.
Hey, everybody.
Now we're on track.
Okay.
It's nothing but professionalism here
Love it. That's
on
good.
Mornings with Mike.
I don't want it any other way.
Jeez.
It's all right. That's my style. Nice and relaxed. Anyway.
All right, so let's start from the beginning.
Okay. Well, my name is Jeff Pitts. I'm a rehabilitation counselor here in Heber City. My background is in clinical psychology, and my role, I work for the state actually, helping people with disabilities get back on their feet and achieve their goals and try to accomplish what they want to do. And so I get referrals from them where there's a big push to help a lot of people within a lot of students right now from the high school.
Okay.
That's a big push we're trying to do so that they can have transition from the high schools. They obviously need to have a disability to qualify.
Okay.
For that program, and needs to show that that disability is causing a real serious impediment to life, to employment, to the school, and then if they meet those criteria, then we try to help them get on their feet.
That's great. It's a great thing that you're doing over there. I know you help a lot of people. Now you also have a business that you run.
Oh yeah.
Helping businesses kind of figure out.
Yeah. So on the
employees and
side
stuff.
of that, sorry, cut you off there.
No, you're good. That's what it's all
On the
about
side
here.
of that, I have a side business that I run, a psychological consulting business that I help businesses. My biggest contracts right now are with the law enforcement agencies.
Okay.
Heber City, Wasatch County, and Summit County use me. I do their functional assessments for their new hires.
Okay.
Their fitness for duty, and just trying to test people, make sure they're the right fit, that they don't have any red flags to hires, to make sure they're hiring the right people.
Right.
Also for businesses, there's a range of things I can do for them. There really is kind of my high interest is just finding the right fit, and helping them understand their people or the people that they're trying to do work with.
Yeah.
So with all of our personalities and our little quirks and little things that make us who we are, I'm trying to help people understand that better so that they can have a better and stronger business.
Sure. I have been hearing that so much lately from business owners and employers, successful ones, that they really put a huge emphasis on hiring the right people. They're not just trying to fill a position. They're trying to find the right person. And it's really interesting to hear kind of how blunt they are with their potential, with their prospects. I mean, they say, are you this? Are you this? Are you this? And if you're not, we're not interested. And it's interesting to see them moving from a place of basic qualifications, because it seems like that's all a job interview used to be about. And when you went to get a job, it was just, what are your qualifications? How long, what kind of experience do you have? How long have you been in this business? What's your education? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of come down to, it always comes back to money, I believe. And they look at their investment when they're hiring the wrong person. It definitely costs them much more money than to spend a little bit up front and to find the right person. Because if they hire the wrong person, they spend months in wages and overhead and then figuring that out, and then they have to do it all over again.
Yeah.
And so a big emphasis in rather than just qualifications, finding the right person and personality traits to match especially higher level positions or positions of authority, especially like law enforcement or a high executive position of some sort. They want to make sure that those personality traits are matching their values and their goals that they want to do, so that they don't find the wrong person and then figure that out 6 months later.
Right, right. And that can be a challenge. I heard one successful business owner speak recently, and he said that they go through a series of interviews, and even when they've done as much work as they can do, ultimately they don't really know what they've got until a few months later.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's easy for someone to sort of mold themselves in, say what the employer wants to hear and mold themselves to the job. And then, after a few months, their true self starts to rear its ugly head, and sometimes it's a bad fit.
Yeah, and that's going to happen. I mean, I think people are pretty clever, and people are going to get fooled sometimes, but hopefully, I'd love to help whoever is interested in that, but hopefully you find the right person and you find ways to figure that out. If they're going to fit, if they fit your team, what type of personality do they have? Do they have a sales personality? Do they have a customer service personality, or do they not?
Right.
And depends on what business you're running, obviously, but they want to find out if they have those skills and are able to really work with people well, or are they able to be alone, if that's the type of business. I mean, there's computer-based businesses that they're stuck back in a closet somewhere, and they have to know if they're going to be able to handle that.
Yeah.
So
the the industry I'm in, life insurance and health insurance,
mm-hmm.
when you're going to get hired by a company to sell insurance for them, they put you through a personality profile.
Yeah.
And they have you take a number of tests to see if you are really suited for the job.
Mm-hmm.
The tragedy of it, now the turnover in my industry is extremely high. In the first 3 years, I believe it's about 87% turnover.
Wow.
Which is just terrible. I mean, people just don't survive in this business.
Yeah.
And then I think within the first 5 years, it's over 90% turnover. I mean, it's just
people don't last.
It's a very difficult industry. But part of the problem is, and the exact same thing happened to me. When you go in and you interview, and they say, okay, now we're going to have you do this personality profile test. You take it at home. You just go online. You
mm-hmm.
answer these questions. But when you go and you answer these questions, what you need to do is you need to answer them not how you would answer them, but how you think that the thing wants you to answer them. And it's like you're defeating the purpose. You're pushing these people into a business that they're not suited for at all. You're promising, a lot of companies, a lot of the multi-level marketing companies, they promise them the world, they promise them riches beyond their imaginations, and then they go sell 5 policies to their friends and family, and then they're done.
Yeah.
It's too bad that they don't really put more emphasis. So I do want to get to this real quick. I know you've got an appointment coming up, so I want to talk to you about this for a few minutes. So out in Sacramento, on the surrounding, by the campus of UC Santa Barbara, over the weekend, I'm sure everybody's heard about it by now. I don't want to use the guy's name. I don't want to try to give him any more publicity than he's already gotten.
Sure.
But a very disturbed individual went on a murderous rampage, stabbed his 3 roommates in college, or he wasn't actually enrolled in college, I guess, at the time, but stabbed his 3 roommates that he was living with, and then proceeded to drive his car around and just sort of randomly take pot shots at people.
Yeah.
And ended up killing 6 people and wounding another 11 or 12 or something, and eventually taking his own life. My first question is, what takes a person from I'm sad and lonely and depressed and everybody hates me, and just sort of wallowing in that or dealing with that, what takes them from, you know, eating tubs of ice cream instead to going on a murderous rampage? I mean, what do we know psychologically? I mean, what happens?
You know, each case is going to be different,
Sure.
and everybody would love to find a perfect answer, and I would too. I think, you know, in his case, it was really a perfect storm of, not perfect, a terrible storm.
Yeah, perfect storms are bad.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Okay, so we can use that. Of, you know, the more I read, the more there was so much going on psychologically with him. His family had believed he was somewhere on the autism spectrum, was never actually diagnosed from what I read on that. But his social skills and social presentation, you know, everyone always commented how he never talked and was always withdrawn, never presented any type of social behavior, bad or good. It was just always withdrawn. And that definitely falls somewhere. You see that often in the autism spectrum. But, I mean, just because of that, that's not going to lead to that murderous rampage that he did.
Right.
And so, looking there's got to be more going on. And the more and more I read, the more, you know, this schizophrenia was thrown out there as a possibility, which is a terrible, terrible thing to be going through for someone.
Sure.
There's several different types of schizophrenia. One of the most common ones is paranoid schizophrenia, and his behaviors, you know, can definitely. Now, I'm not saying that someone that has this is going to go down this road.
Yeah.
And so I like the way you phrased the question is what leads to this, because there's, you know, millions of people that suffer from these things that are well-adjusted people.
Never kill anybody.
Yeah, and do obviously even struggling, but never go down this road.
Yeah.
And so that's what is puzzling to me is, you know, that it's just a combination of several different things, you know, and he seemed to be blaming everything on women not wanting him sexually, socially, whatever. And he was that, but he definitely had some jealousy and some issues with his roommates, obviously, and I watched a little YouTube clip of him just to try to get an understanding. There was definitely a huge amount of fear in his eyes, and fear can present itself in so many different ways, you know, anger, and when it's mixed in with all the other disorders that he had, it you know, it's that's all I can go off of, you know, obviously with not being, you know, his counselor.
Do you have any recommendations? I mean, it sounds like the parents had expressed concern to the police.
Yeah.
His counselor had expressed concern. I mean, I think that, you know, very few of us have someone in our lives that is this disturbed, obviously.
Yeah.
But we probably sometimes know somebody that we sometimes kind of question when we hear about a story like this. It's like, oh, I know a girl like that, you know. I mean, what can we do? I found it fascinating that one of the players for the University of Utah was actually his childhood friend, and spent a lot of time with him, and then they kind of drifted apart as they got older, and he was actually mentioned in his manifesto, and he was just he said he was always nice to me, but I hated him because girls liked him. But I mean, what can we do? I mean, because he was people obviously showed him compassion and showed him friendship and cared about him, and it still wasn't enough.
Didn't help, you know. And I looked like, to me, the parents were actively trying to help, but maybe at a loss of what to do. The therapist, I haven't read much of, you know, what the therapist had done or what they were concerned about. I don't know if they saw this coming or if they did, what they did about it. Clearly, though, he had access or got handguns, and I'm not going to go down the road of, I own guns, and I am very
Yeah,
big
no,
advocate. We're not gonna
obviously.
go
I
there.
mean, he stabbed 3 of his victims to death and
but
hurt a
the
bunch of other
fact
people with his
where
car.
someone has to be following up with him, and the fact that he had these issues and lives so far away from his support system,
Right.
that's what I would suggest. Is if you have someone in your life or know of someone that if you're looking for help, get them close to a support system.
Sure.
I don't know how far away. I think I read a report like his family lived about an hour away or something.
Yeah, his parents were divorced. His mom was a long ways away. I think she
Okay.
was in New York or something.
So, I mean, in circumstances, that always isn't going to be available. But, I mean, hindsight's always 20/20. You'd love to say that, the police knew about this. And I did see something that they came over, but they didn't. He said something about that if they would have searched his room, this whole plot would have been diverted, and he would have been, found out.
Yeah, he was pretty proud of himself, though, that he had fooled them into thinking he was fine and well-adjusted.
Yeah, and that's the scary side of it. And his comorbid diagnosis is going to be very rare, but it is out there.
Sure.
And so it falls upon, and it's tough because the support systems and the family members, they're usually either burned out trying to help these folks, or it's just a lot of work. And so, you never think, oh, this could be them or this could happen to them. But when times like this happens, you always got to do a little bit of, reflection and self-reflection of what should we be doing? Are we doing the right things? Could this happen to someone I know? And you hate to make judgments like that, and no one really wants to, but you would hate even worse if it happened again.
Yeah.
Or if it happened with someone that you knew and you felt like you could have done something. So that's what I would suggest, is just communication is always the biggest key. Keeping lines of communication. And, this kid with his social ineptitude, really, just not discussing with anyone. They said, family members watched his YouTube videos and they're like, we had no idea who this was. This wasn't the kid we knew.
Yeah.
And so, that if there's any indications, if there's any signs of outside, and I'm not an expert in this field, but it's just communication and exploring all possibilities, and then really following up. If you have any feelings, any gut feelings at all, that this might be a tendency or a possibility with someone, don't invade their rights, obviously, but follow up with them. Do all you can, and make sure that no one is hurt because of someone doing something like this. You always wish that it could have been changed, but
well, it seems to me that we're obviously, with this specific situation, we're never going to know. But as I read through, and I don't think people should dwell on this. I think, it's important that parents talk to their children about it, but really don't allow your children to dwell on this kind of stuff. Don't let them watch his videos. You never want someone to start to sympathize with a guy like this. But it seems to me that, I was taught from an early age to reach out to people, to befriend the person that doesn't have any friends. And, I read quite a bit of this kid's kind of life story and things, and there were so many instances that he pointed to where he said, I went and tried to fit in, and people just, laughed, made fun, pointed fingers. People were so exclusionary. They just pushed me away and never would accept me into a group. And the guys or the girls, no one ever, at his age, as he was a kid, he had friends, but as he got older, no one really would ever reach out to him. And I hope in the future that as we as human beings interact with each other, if we will seek out those people who aren't included in the group, and bring them in and treat them like human beings, treat them with kindness and charity and love and empathy, who knows? Who knows what kind of miracles can happen just by walking over to a kid and talking to him for 5 minutes and saying, "Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
My name's Mike. It's really nice to meet you. What's your story?" I mean, who knows what that could have prevented?
You're right. And I think we've come a long way as a society. I think there's a higher understanding of what bullying is. There's a higher understanding now of what we can do. It's still, obviously, we're not perfect and it needs to do more. But a lot of that of what he had said and things, there were people that, a lot of it is perception on his side too.
Yeah.
And that's
you're absolutely right.
very sad because it seemed like many people, including the football player from the University of Utah, were friendly with them when they had the opportunity.
Right.
But you are right in that, if you do notice somebody that is just down, reach out, and oftentimes it's human nature to want the other person to reach out.
Yeah.
To want somebody else to make the effort.
We do. We absolutely. So somebody. I mean, he kept saying that. I never approached a girl, but no girl ever came after me. And it's like, well, hey, you got to make the move, buddy.
He was blaming them for all of what was going on in his life, but he never didn't have the skills to do it. But it was their fault.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing that we have to remember in the future with working with other people that we see as maybe having some of these social issues. When we have a tendency to reach out and to try to help someone, their inhibition to do that is stronger. Their inability to be social and to be friendly is a disability.
Right.
And so, if we have any opportunity to reach out and to help somebody, or to, as you said, just talk with them, see how they're doing, especially in the younger years. It seems that middle school and high school are really important for those things, but the other kids are going through their own problems, and so these issues, and social issues, they're not going to go away. That's part of the human condition. But is it getting better? Yeah. And I think just with more communication, more education, more understanding, then it's gonna get better.
Yeah, I sure hope so. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for being on the show with us this morning. We really appreciate it. And good luck with your continued efforts to help people, and good luck with your business venture. If you need someone to come and evaluate your talent, give Jeff a call and have him come in and help you.
Appreciate that.
So thank you so much though for being on with us, and hopefully we'll have a more positive thing to talk about next time.
Next time,
hopefully we won't have another situation.
Or golf or something.
Oh, absolutely.
And then if anybody knows someone that has a disability that feels like they need some help, have them come see me.
Absolutely. There's no shame in getting
rehab.
help.
Yeah.
There's no shame at all.
So
all right. Thank you so much.
Me.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, just want to let people know that we are on Facebook now, finally. So you can go onto Facebook and look up Mornings with Mike, and like the page. And I want this show to start getting more interactive, and I've been trying to figure out what's the best way to do that. I don't have someone here manning the phones that can take a call and screen my callers and make sure that they're, legit and that they're not going to get on and start yelling crazy stuff. And so I decided that getting people to interact through Facebook and things like that would be a better way to do that. So go to the Mornings with Mike Facebook page. I've got a poll on the page right now asking what you think about the tragedy in Sacramento, and if you think gun laws could possibly make a difference there or not. Obviously, the young man killed as many people with a knife as he did with a gun. Injured quite a few people, I believe, with a gun, and also with his car. Interestingly enough, they had another tragedy, I guess, in 2006, where another student just used his vehicle as his weapon of choice and drove into a crowd and killed 4 more people. So just kind of interested to get your thoughts there. So hop on Facebook, pull up Mornings with Mike, like the page, and start interacting with us. And tell us what you think. Really like to get more feedback from you guys. I would ask you to be respectful with your comments, but go ahead and express your opinion. And if you don't like what we're saying, let us know. And if you like what we're saying, let us know. And we'll, so that way we can gauge a little bit better, or I can gauge a little bit better what my listeners want to hear. So anyway, just a little plug there. So make sure you get involved. All right. So our next guest is the infamous, Tom Bonner, the head of Wasatch County Parks and Recreation. Infamous or infamous? It means you're super famous.
Yeah.
According to Ned Niederlander.
Only in my own home.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today, Tom. How are things going?
Really good. Summer is definitely here.
Oh, yeah. It's hot. It's going to be a hot day today.
Hot day today. Hopefully mountains get some more rain, but we don't.
Yeah.
Until baseball season's over, rodeo season.
You just want baseball season over.
Yeah, it's summer's been good so far.
Yeah.
We had a great event last Monday. The Memorial Day celebration went really well.
Yeah, I was unfortunately I was out of town. I wasn't able to make it.
Yeah, unbelievable. Well. We figured we had about 1,900 to 2,000 people in the stands.
Wow.
We served a little over 1,500 plates of pancakes.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a lot of pancakes.
A lot of pancakes. The scouts did really well serving the pancakes, cooking. But the Memorial Day celebration is something that you need to attend in future years.
I will for sure.
It's amazing to hear the stories and it's the feeling. I didn't realize really what Memorial Day was until I started working on this celebration.
Yeah,
and it's
usually just a 3-day weekend.
Yeah, exactly. It's a day off, but it's so much more than that. What the military does for us as citizens of the United States is there's just no words. It's beyond comprehension what they do for us and the sacrifices they make, and it's just an amazing feeling when you see people there supporting them, and it's unbelievable. I've never felt so good in my life as I did on Monday putting that celebration on. It was
awesome.
Amazing. It really was.
Oh, that's great. I mean, the sacrifice that those men and women make, there's nothing that really compares.
No, and we want, with the celebration, our main goal is just to get people to think about veterans.
Sure.
Not just on Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah.
If you know a veteran, if you see a veteran, if you see somebody in uniform, it literally takes 10 seconds out of your life to shake their hand and tell them thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
And that goes so far to them. It's just unbelievable how much time and effort and sacrifice they put into keeping us free in this country, and they need to know that we do support them.
Yeah, absolutely. I really hope that they get that message that how much we appreciate them, and you're right. They're not going to know. They're not going to know how much we appreciate them until we go and tell them.
Exactly.
And I've never walked up to a person in uniform and told them thank you and have them be bothered.
No.
You know, they're always appreciative. They're always happy to shake your hand, and kind of say thanks back for acknowledging what they do. So
yeah, and that's the very least we can do for them, is just tell them thank you when you see them.
yeah, absolutely. Well, that's great. So so what are some other things going on with the department? What do we have going on during the summer? Obviously, we've got softball leagues going on right now.
Yeah, softball, baseball, getting ready to wrap up mid-June, 1st of July. This weekend, though, we've got actually today we've got high school graduation down at the event center.
That's right.
It's a big event, real exciting event for the kids. That I don't know what the number is. 400 plus kids graduating from Wasatch High School this year.
Wow.
So get there early to get a seat.
No kidding.
I know we did bring in, a couple thousand more seats.
Where are you doing it?
At the event center.
At the event center. Okay.
Yep, at the event center.
It's going to be
5 o'clock.
It's going to be a cooker.
It
today.
is.
It's going to be warm.
Yeah, we'll get the big fans going in there, and
for sure.
No, great place to have it. That actually, when we opened the building, that was the very first event we had in there. Was a graduation.
That's right.
So good for the kids. Good for the parents to come. Everybody gets a nice seat to sit in, and good parking, everything down there. So
yeah,
great place. And then Friday and Saturday down at the event complex, we have the junior high school rodeo finals.
Okay.
So these are the younger kids, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. First go around is Friday at 4 o'clock. Sorry, 5 o'clock. Got to look at my notes. 5 o'clock's the first performance, again for the young kids, and then Saturday they have 2 performances. They have the second go around, and then that is at 9 o'clock, and then the championship round where they cut it to the top 10 that goes at 4 o'clock. So if you want to see the up and coming kids in rodeo, Utah is definitely a power in the high school ranks when it comes to rodeo. And then next week, starting Wednesday, is the state high school rodeo finals. 39th year we've had it here.
Wow.
Yeah, 39th consecutive year we've had the state finals. Kicks off Wednesday morning. 2 go-arounds a day. First go-around is at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock for the first performance, and then they have it at 7 o'clock at night. So 10 and 7, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday is the championship round where the top 10 come back, crown the winners, crown the national qualifiers at 6 o'clock. If you like rodeo,
yeah,
high school state finals is a rodeo to go to. It's these are the up and coming kids, our local kids. Matthew Provost, Carson Bolthorpe, Sadie Fitzgerald. I apologize if I've missed a few. I know I've missed a few kids, but because there's quite a few of them. But our local talent is pretty darn good too, and then it goes all the way down to the Wright boys from down in Milford. Their dad's a multiple-time world champion.
Really?
Yeah, and
wow.
They're in Saddle Bronc, and the boys are following his footsteps. They do really well. They're great riders, great kids. So come on down next week. Come down this week.
Yeah.
See the junior high kids next week. The high school kids. It's really exciting. A lot of fun.
That's great.
And then we've got softball tournaments coming up. We just had baseball tournament last week. The Memorial Day tournament that's down in Utah County, they bleed up here a little bit on Friday and Saturday.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, they have so many teams down there.
Uh-huh.
When you need
make some of them come up here. Huh?
When you need 45 fields, to run a tournament, it's
rough.
It's tough to find. So they were up here last weekend. Then we'll have our big Firecracker 4th of July tournament. We had 283 teams last year.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
That is incredible.
So Uptown, I hope Uptown's benefit. Well, I don't hope. I know they are. When we put these tournaments on, when we put these events on, Heber City, Wasatch County, they benefit greatly for these events.
Sure.
Financially. These people eat, they sleep. They fix tires, they buy gas, they by zip ties at Timberline. Everything under the sun they buy when they're in town. And,
Sure.
They shop at Days Market. It's a good thing for the valley. So we're excited to have them. We're excited to continue bringing events to town.
That's great.
For the public's knowledge, just want to let you know, Mike, that last year at the event complex, which takes in the rodeo grounds, the fairgrounds, Southfield Park, the rec center, the Parks and Recreation Department put on 53 events last year.
Okay.
So we're staying busy.
Yeah, for sure.
The town is staying busy, and we're doing our best to keep it busy.
That's great.
Yeah. So pretty excited.
How are things going at the rec center now? It seems to be that as the weather starts to improve, attendance at the rec center goes down dramatically.
It does. There is no doubt about that. June, July, August, most of September. Some of September. Once school gets in, we see kids start coming back.
Right.
See coaches start using the facility again. But summer's pretty dead in there.
Yeah.
Other than the weeks we have camps.
Oh, okay.
So to keep the place, kind of busy in the summer, we do basketball camps, we do volleyball camps.
All right.
We have a day camp that goes 5 days a week with YMCA. So we have a kids camp through YMCA where parents can put their kids in these programs. They go on field trips. They do stuff at the rec center. They do all kinds of things through the YMCA. So if you go to YMCA's website, you can sign up. For these camps where kids, these latchkey kids, it's great for them.
Right.
Where mom and dad are gone to work at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Put your kids in these camps where they can come and hang out with some good professionals in the field, and they learn a lot over the summer. And it keeps the kids active. It keeps them off the couch while mom and dad's at work, playing video games. So it's a great thing.
Yeah. And that probably brings in hopefully a little bit of revenue.
Oh, absolutely.
to the county as well. That's good.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah, it's that's one thing. I know people read KSL. They read the Tribune. They look at departments that are in the news around the state. Tooele comes to mind. What Tooele had to go through with their Parks and Recreation Department a couple of years ago, where they laid off 24 employees. They shut the facilities down. I just want I want our county to know where our department is right now. So let me give you some stats on what happened in Parks and Recreation last year.
Sure.
So last year we had a total budget of $2,500,000.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we brought in revenues of $2,545,000, a few more dollars.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we spent $2,400,000. So we had a surplus of $146,000, which we put into a fund that is a replacement fund. The turf is going to need to be replaced at the rec center. The track is going to eventually.
Right.
Fencing at ball fields, things like that. So, out of that $2.5 million, $1.5 million of it comes through revenue that we bring in through fees.
Sure.
The other $1 million comes through the tax assessment that we have as a special service district.
Right.
So $1.5 million that we bring in for the department is pretty darn good for a department our size. Fees like Little League Baseball, soccer, swimming, all of those things. So, fee-wise, we do pretty good, and the fees are still reasonable and people are still using us. We're not being told that we're too outrageous when prices. We do studies every year. Heath and Amaria do studies every year on other departments to find out if we're charging, correct amounts, if we're charging, competitive amounts, and we feel that we're actually at the bottom of the rung on that. So the department's doing pretty good. Now, a Parks and Recreation budget, whether it's Wasatch County, anywhere in the state. They're pretty fluid budgets.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a number you can tie down pretty hard, because you just don't know. You have a pretty good idea to make an educated guess of what you're going to bring in, but it all depends on how many kids sign up for this and that and the other, and events. So the department's doing really well right now, and we're excited. We've grown every year. In the last 10 years, even through the recession, we grew. Mm-hmm. Last year we grew about 6%. And I anticipate we're going to keep growing with the growth around town. So,
yeah, for sure.
Pretty excited with the way things are going.
What are some of the changes, I guess, is the best way to put it, that the department's looking at making over the next few years? Are there different sports they're thinking about bringing in? Are there different events, or what are some of the changes they're looking at making?
Well, activity-wise, sports-wise, we get. You'd be surprised how many phone calls we get on. Why don't you try this? Why don't you try that?
I'm sure everybody's got their sport of choice,
and we love that. And we want to be able to accommodate everybody.
Sure,
we really do. I'll give you an example. About 3 years ago, we had a group come to us that wanted to play rugby. So we put out a flyer that we're going to start rugby. We had 8 or 10 kids sign up.
Right.
Which, obviously that's not enough to field the team and to field the league. We did a camp. We did a rugby camp. We did learn how to play rugby type
Sure.
thing. 3 years later, we've got rugby teams in town.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've got enough teams that we participate in a league in Utah County.
Okay.
Eventually, we're going to get big enough where we have our own league here, and we don't have to travel. But lacrosse is the same way.
Yeah, that's a surprisingly popular sport these days.
It is
one of the fastest growing, or something.
And it is growing in our valley. So whenever we have somebody come to us, we look at it, we try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll try it down the road. Event-wise, we don't have any new events coming on board right now. We're just staying status quo with events right now. We're pretty happy with the events we have. We have a number of them. They're successful, and we're excited about that. I guess the big thing that's happening with the department is going to be November 4th, 2014, Election Day. There's a little thing on the ballot, bond initiative for the swimming pool and fields. So we're actually excited about that. We're to the point right now where we understand that we are asking people for a pretty sizable amount of money to put these facilities in. Mm-hmm. We have the kids to fill these facilities. Right now, our swim team has 200 plus kids in it. They're swimming 14 to a lane right now. Mm-hmm. They're banging into each other. Our swim lessons have 600 plus kids in it, and that number, we've looked at of what would happen if we had the water that we need to teach kids, and that number almost doubles. It goes to 1,000 to 1,100 kids in swim lessons if we have the water to handle them. Over at the pool right now, there's just so much shallow water. Yeah, and the majority of kids that we teach swim lessons in the department are the small kids, the kids that need the zero depth, the 3 feet. Yeah. And we just don't have the water to teach the kids. And if we had the water, those numbers are going to go up drastically. And not only will those numbers go up, they'll go up year-round. Sure. We'll be able to use the pool in, January, February, March, when we don't use it now. Right. Just because of space. The high school swim team, I know they're swimming multiple kids to a lane out there when they're practicing. Yeah.
How much... And this is going to be a topic that we're going to come back to a lot over the coming months, because it's a big deal. How much flexibility is there? I mean, if you've been paying attention, you've seen the mock-ups, you've seen the drawings, you've seen the proposals. Sure. how much flexibility is there in the final product from what's currently being proposed? Are they going to continue? Let's say hypothetically that it passes this fall.
Sure.
How much flexibility is there in what the final product is, or
A lot.
whatever is on the ballot? Is that just what's going to happen?
Well, the number's the number.
Oh, I understand
Yeah.
the number, and they can't go over
Yeah.
the number. I mean,
Yeah.
that's written right into the language of the proposal.
Yeah, and the ordinance that was passed to that the county council passed, the ordinance that put the number on
Right.
to put it on the ballot.
Right.
Here's how the process will go. Okay, hypothetically, if it passes,
Mm-hmm.
if the bond passes, the Wasatch County Parks and Recreation Department will put out a request for proposal, RFP,
Okay.
with that number. We will get back from, it'll be, most likely it'll be a design build.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the design and the build will all
Yeah,
be
you're
under.
probably not going to have a cookie cutter thing that
exactly.
you can just bring in.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to put the tile in. No, I'm not. I'm not a tile guy. So the RFP, the request for proposal, will go out. My guess is we will have numerous companies bid on this project. Wasatch County will look at the county council, being the governing board of Parks and Recreation, will look at each proposal. The design, my guess is the design will change with each proposal.
Right.
Each company will have their little, their niche in there.
Sure.
With that being said, each company will ask us as a department, what are your needs?
Mm-hmm.
What do you need? How much do you need?
Sure.
And we'll give them that. Numbers I just gave you. We have this many kids in swim team. We have this many kids in swim lessons. That's when the proposals will come back. Like I said, I bet you, I guarantee you that each design will be a little different here and there.
Yeah.
And Wasatch County will pick the one that they feel suits our needs.
Yeah.
So there is definitely there's a lot of leeway in that design.
Okay. Well, I think from me personally, if it passes and it looks kind of, I don't know, it seems like from the word I get out on the street, it's maybe kind of 50-50 right now. It's hard to say.
And that's a good point, Mike. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You're good.
That's a good point. The 50-50 is great in my mind right now, and here's why: is because I don't think the public has done any research on it themselves. I think they've just looked at the number and said, "Yes, I can afford it. No, I can't afford it. No, I'm against it. Yes, I'm whatever their feelings are." That's the only thing that I ask people to do is make a phone call to me, Dr. Taylor, whoever. Do just a few minutes of research before you make that decision.
Yeah.
Find out what it's going to cost you. Find out why we need it.
Yeah.
Make a phone call. Don't just make the decision because you either hate it or you like it.
Yeah.
Do a little research. It's just like when you vote for the president, when you vote for county council candidate.
Don't go make an uninformed decision. I agree. That's why I do the show.
Take 30 minutes out of your life, do a little bit of research, then make a decision.
Right. And we will have lots of information on the show as we go forward from both sides of the argument, and we'll get all the information out there and let people make their own decision. For me personally, what I would ask for and hope for as it moves forward, if it passes, what I want out of government run things is function over form.
Sure.
We all love to go into a building and have beautiful, expensive, intricate details on everything and have it just be lavish and luxurious and everything. If private industry wants to do things that way, that's great.
Sure.
But when it comes to public funds, all I would ever ask personally is that decisions are made primarily with an eye on cost and functionality and feasibility and everything, instead of, well, if we, I always use the example. You see these buildings sometimes that are built, and it's like, well, we can go with the, $10 a square foot tile, or we can go for the $2 a square foot tile, and the $10 a square foot tile isn't really that much more efficient or going to last any longer, but it's a lot prettier and
Sure.
it's a lot nicer. And sometimes we see government buildings put in the $10 tile, and it's like, you know what? That's not what we need. We need something functional. We need something that's that's not ugly, but
Sure.
but we want to go somewhere where it's comfortable and there's plenty of room for everybody, and so I hope that going forward, that's my biggest concern anytime a government agency does
Sure.
anything, is let's make sure that it's let's make sure that it's functional and cost effective more than beautiful and lavish. I get,
Mike, that's a good point,
bugs me.
and I want to pat our department on the back a little bit here, because
go ahead.
I think we absolutely do that, and I'll try to explain why I think we do that in the Parks and Recreation Department. If you look at the facilities that we've put in,
right,
the event center, the rec center, Southfield Park, every single facility that we run in my department is multi-use.
mm-hmm.
The baseball fields at Southfield Park, we use them for baseball. We use them for softball. We use them for soccer.
Mhm.
We use them for the county fair.
Sure,
The rec center, the turf fields, we use them for soccer, baseball, football. The basketball courts, volleyball, basketball. Kids ride their bikes on them.
Right.
The surface we put in there, you can spill anything in the world on it and it cleans up.
yeah,
That's why we put that surface in there, for multi-use.
yep,
Not only multi-use for operation and maintenance, we don't have to go refinish hardwood floors. Is hardwood the greatest thing to play on?
absolutely.
Is it great to look at?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But we go with functionality. Like you said,
I agree.
the event center is another prime example, and I really want people to start understanding that. Is it a facility that we have rodeos in? Absolutely. But go down there right now today,
Mhm.
and we're having graduation. We have wrestling tournaments. We have gymnastics meets. We have archery shoots,
Mm-hmm.
rodeos.
Sure,
It's a multi-use facility, and I think the track record of our department proves that we build facilities for multi-use,
sure,
not for a specific one event, one type of activity. We do multi-use our facilities for everything under the sun. We do. It's just something we do, and I absolutely don't see this facility being any different. I really don't.
Well, I hope that continues to be the track that they follow, and I really do appreciate that. I mean, I use the rec center as much as I can, and I agree with you that it is very much function over function
Sure.
over form, and I really appreciate that about
Yeah.
it. So. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with us today, Tom. I
You
hope
bet.
if you end up getting a pool, I hope you start a Marco Polo league.
Absolutely.
I don't know what that is, but no. But anyway, really appreciate you being on. Appreciate the work that you do, and keep using those tax dollars wisely and taking care of us, and because we, I mean, we need these things, and more often than not, a private business is not going to come in and build these things for us unless they're going to charge a fortune, and so that they can a business doesn't get into business to break even. They
No.
get into business to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so I think that as the Parks and Rec department continues to do things when they're at break even, that's
A beautiful
perfect.
thing.
That's exactly what
Yeah.
we need. And if we have a
Yeah.
little bit of reserve so we
Yeah.
can replace things
Sure.
when we need to, that's fine too. So thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate
You bet,
it.
Mike. Yeah,
And,
like I said earlier, the only thing I ask is give me a call.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
give me a call. Come sit down with me. I'm not hard to find. So
yeah, no,
give me
I,
a call.
I agree completely. I want the people in the valley. I want my listeners to be educated and well informed. I want them to make informed decisions. There's and get the message from both sides, but look at what the facts are and form your own conclusions, and don't just take someone else's opinion or advice or whatever, because usually if someone's got an opinion to share, they've probably got a motive behind it.
Sure.
And that's with all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
So go out and form your own opinion on everything every time you make a decision like that. Anyway, thank you again. We
You bet,
really
Mike.
appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, well, that's our show for today. This has been Mornings with Mike. We really want to thank Jeff Pitts and Tom Bonner for being on the show. Hopefully you learned a little bit of something. Hopefully it was a beneficial show for you. Do want to mention a couple of quick things before I let you go. If you haven't heard yet, Maya Angelou passed away today at the age of 86, the well-known poet. So that's too bad. Let's see what else is going on. The Relay for Life car wash that was supposed to be last weekend got the kibosh because it was raining all morning long, and hopefully you didn't show up looking for them. But they will be putting it on this weekend on Saturday at 9 a.m. So make sure you go get your car washed. I guess it's from 9 to 2 or something like that. So get over there to Days Market parking lot and get your car washed and support a great cause. And have a great week. It's going to be a nice week. So enjoy it. Get out, play some golf, play some soccer, play some baseball, softball, whatever's out there for you. So enjoy it, and thanks so much for listening. Have a great day.